Sha Festival again, and it was just called Give Me Sha. Prophet Manda Kanjo, Mr. James Land. Umelele, 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 umelela. A certain ambiguity may seem to invade a young man in his prime, Dancy Elvis Nukam. Is he an enigma in the face of everything that surfaces on his path? Is he a convivial, witty element who lavishes the gift of kindness and humanitarian qualities with style, or a rather purposeful politician who grapples with Abraham Lincoln's lessons of never give up? Is he the prospective leader constructing his own future on the merits and demerits of adventure, or one that litters his path with harmonious achievements? Is he a profound source of encouragement to the rest of the youth population in Cameroon and beyond, or just an ambitious young man following his own carved-out pattern of life? If the answer to every of these questions is at least partly yes, then evidently this 32-year-old Dancy Elvis Nukam must be a man of so many proven talents. As a product of a union of near extreme on ethnic divides of the people of the northwest region of Cameroon, Elvis blends the languages and cultures of the Nchani and Bali people of the northwest region of Cameroon, who happen to enjoy the common heritage of the Tikaris, a well-dominant tribe in parts of the northwest region.
Back still from how I grew up as a kid, we used to run behind these masquerades, and I used to enjoy them so much and had a lot of nostalgia as far as masquerades are concerned, because of the culture that gives me a very fresh memory and good memories of how I grew up, but the cultural aspect of it. In 2012, when I won the elections as a national party, during my homecoming, as I call it, to the Northwest region, to thank the people of the Northwest region for supporting my candidature. It was a very big ceremony in Bamenda, and I was surprised when the Wimbom community who came for the ceremony a surprise of a traditional title. They gave me, and you know what a red feather signifies in our culture in the Northwest. It's a sign of great achievement. And that red feather, the title itself was Tamfo. And so first I was given the traditional title of a Tamfo, which in the Wimbom culture means a warrior. So if they realize that I'm a warrior is somebody, you know, that goes to the battlefront, then it reminded me that I have a lot of things to give back to my people. I have to be a warrior at the forefront to always speak on issues that will impact their lives, on concerns that, you know, is affecting their life.
Here is a young man who shot into prominence with the attributes of the rising sun, powered by a strong innate iron will to break grounds of every character. Elvis has been strongly enthused by the works and studies, or again examples of some great scholars, making efforts to implement all that he learns or reads about such. This leaves him with a rich library that most often becomes his referral point whenever he is stuck. His leadership qualities have been nurtured in systematic fashion, certainly not concealing the burning ambitions that consumed him in his growing process. He was senior prefect in primary school, senior prefect in secondary school, and students' leader in the university, a trend that laid the necessary groundwork for him to chart his way into the hardcore party politics to become the UNDP's National Youth President since 2012, following elections.
The race to parliament, not be race for any kind of thing. The race for parliament, now race for people them way they get courage and they get the love of the people and people who can go to Yaoundé and knock any door and bring development to their people.
Having joined the party only in 2006. As long as Elvis is ruled by a certain magma rumbling in him, his takeoff point in rudimentary political adventures was interestingly enough to outline his capabilities and prominence. At 24, he was invested by his party to run for parliamentarian in his native Misaje constituency, an age range that still has to be challenged in his political class.
Being a very keen observer of the political arena in the country, I asked myself, but where can I channel my leadership skills based on my desire, to serve and be a leader in like one of those avenues where leaders can easily, emerge to hold positions in society that can serve their communities. And so I immediately scanned through all the political landscape and I made the choice of joining the NUDP party. And it was very spectacular. I joined the party at the age of 23, and at the age of 24, the party already, validated my candidature to be a list leader for the elections, the twin election in 2007. And I was a list leader at the age of 24. I saw myself leading a campaign caravan, standing on the podium, talking to thousands of people. And, I brought one of the best results for the NUDP party at that point in time in the Northwest. And I realized that there was something about me as far as politics is concerned that I needed to develop. And I stayed steadfast to my party ideologies, to trying to implant the party in my village, in the division as well, and in the region. And very interestingly, in 2012, when we were holding the party congress in Yaoundé, I put up my candidature to be the national youth president of the party. And it was so welcomed by everybody, all the militants from the northern regions, the militants from the southwest, the center region, and the south. They all said yes. And my elections was a unique elections where there was I had just one candidate who wanted to contest with me, but who later on joined my list. And I won by acclamation, you see. And I became the youth president of the NUDP party at the age of 28.
With such ambitious settings, humility seemed to have been on his side. Not much for his ability to mount the political rostrum when it came to it, but rather to serve humanity in the humble prescriptions and dictates of the medical profession he embraced in the university.
A big thank you we can say to him, and we are trying to encourage him in his efforts as he tries to improve on the health situation in this locality.
Duty conducted him to some of the most trying locations young men of his caliber will normally hesitate to serve. He was compelled to brave the dangers of the high seas of the Atlantic Ocean, or again the dangers of pirates, or again near impassable roads leading to Isangele or Bakassi in the Ndian division of the southwest region of Cameroon. This was an enclave disputed territory between Cameroon and Nigeria at the time when nobody wanted to have as a destination, but faith conducted Elvis to Bakassi as his first workstation, conducting vaccination campaigns against infant ailments. Ndasi Elvis' thrust in the political landscape of Cameroon has methodically transformed him into a man of the people. When he visits his native Misaje, where his political muscle tensions the atmosphere in fair political competition, his supporters sometimes cut across political lines. They empty into the streets and other meeting points in the village to offer hearty welcome rituals. The euphoria that grips the population is usually of no mean quality. Greatly so, most often too, because Elvis operates on a friendly vocal cord that heralds an assembly of some of the talented minds around him. As such, he is involved in most prominent televised debates on state TV, CRTV, or some local television channels around town.
Welcome to the program. Merci Elvis.
Thank you very much, Jesse.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you, for your election as the national president for the National Union for Democracy and Progress, UNDP. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and good morning to all the televiewers of Arian TV.
I'm going to talk about this book you've written. Certainly, it's a book which comes from your true life experiences in politics. It's titled The Gateway to Politics.
Yeah, thank you. Many people will ask, why would a medical person be writing a book on health and politics?
For any strong civil society for any civil society group to function well, there must be regulation within that society.
Youth unemployment is a contemporary issue as of now in Cameroon. It cuts across every aspect of the societal ills that we are having today. If we are talking about youth being recruited in the Boko Haram sects and all those groups that are causing problems in this country, majority of those youth are the jobless ones.
Perhaps that pushed him into engaging the people in various life-animating activities, which in most cases impacted their personal incomes and enhances a more united society. Prominent amongst his line of activities with the population is the sponsorship of the Sha competition. Sha is a locally brewed drink common in the villages of the Ndonga Mantun division, which often, when fermented, becomes an alcoholic beverage. The competition is organized on a yearly basis and is designed to sensitize the women that produce and sell it to abide by hygienic conditions. It brings together participants from all the villages of that administrative unit.
Water, they say clean water, you put reception bucket under. As you put this reception bucket under, when person don't drink sha, you more consider saying that people then they don't drink sha. Like the cup them. You bring her. Maybe one wash the cup, you keep her. You take one, you open your tap. You take time, you wash your cup very well. Now clean water now. Okay. And then you mix any other my mop with another my mop. No be so. So when I see that I wash her. When I don't wash her so well, you look this place where now for the way people they put mop. When you don't wash her all, you lock your tap. You lock your tap. No be so. Now all that.
The message is that of ensuring that there is hygiene and sanitation in the process of production and sale of this sha, so that those who drink it should be healthy. I'll do a simple analysis. When you enter an off-license, you have the choice to either drink beer, which is alcoholic, or to drink top or any sweet drink. When you enter a sha house, you have the option to either drink sweet sha, which is non-alcoholic, or to drink alcoholic. The word, that's exactly how they call it. Now, brasserie is the bottle they are drink, and everybody has a unique bottle that he can drink directly from it, which is safe. But in sha, you don't bottle it, so it's been carried from a pot and saved in a cup. And when you drink in a cup, the next person has to drink from the same cup, and all what they do is they wash it in one bucket, rinse it in another bucket, and they save the next person that comes after you. Now, oral infections like tuberculosis, oral infections like cholera, and all those kind of infections that can be transmitted through the mouth, if you have this kind of method of washing here and rinsing here and saving another person, health-wise, it becomes very dangerous to do. So I brought this innovation of Sha Festival as a way to bring the people together now to preach hygiene and sanitation on how to prevent infection transmission during the production and sales of this liquor. And that's how I came up with the innovation of the bucket that has, a tap below where you can fill in clean water in the bucket, and when somebody drinks the sha, you use the cup, you up water, and then you can wash the cup with a receptive bucket down. Before serving the next person, you are sure that you wash that cup but with running water. And so it's safer than rinsing it in another bucket and washing several cups in the two same buckets, which is very, very contaminating to those who come after.
Participants who win the competitions usually take their victories with enormous delight and hope.
And inside this cup, you get a cash prize of 20,000. And inside this cash prize of 20,000, you get a bucket. Yes! Clap for you. That's good.
I dey feel glad to say I don't take first prize. And I hope say I will continue to take first prize. I know I can't ever go for back again. All my things they be clean. And my shall be clean. They favor. It deterres for more. Now me make am myself.
So I'll be very glad for the prices around here and say my help my skin day.
Besides the shark competition, Mr. Ndasi also takes pleasure in sponsoring a football club, the Messager Sports Academy, through which he hopes to harness some of the rampaging youth with untapped talents and potentials.
Messager Sports Academy will go far because we would link at some time with some foreign teams. You see that sometimes talents from here should be selected to test matches abroad. Amen. Our prayer is that someday a son from Messager should play. Our prayer is that someday a son from Messager should play in a foreign team or in a national team.
The club is barely a year old and is already competing in the 3rd Division League of the division.
Yes, trophy! Yes! You are taking it with you!
This young man also has an eye on the soil. Agriculture, which molded him as a child growing up with his grandmother in the village, proves another source of inspiration in Ndasi's long chain. He recently inaugurated some hectares of farmland in his village with the intention of experimenting the growing of cocoa in the area and also to do a palm plantation. As such, as he gets closer to the people, the more committed he becomes, especially to the underprivileged. He runs a scholarship scheme for orphans in his village. That way, he is certain that most ground is adequately covered.
I want to support you people, to give you books and to give you your school fees so that you'll be able to go to school, not so. So the money that you will have today, they will just give you envelopes. But inside the envelopes, we are going to put the money in one envelope and give it to your coordinator, to your paid, not so.
He equally stretches a hand of fellowship in all the denominational directions, donating articles to the Muslim community in his area, the Presbyterians, the Baptists, and the Catholics as well. These are gestures that caress sentiments among the local populations in his area. They jump at every given opportunity to shower praises on the illustrious son of Messager.
We thank you, and you don't show we say we don't take you our own brother too for the gesture we don't can show you for your own mukstu for Messager. So all the Muslim community for Messager, they thank you and they will continue for pray for you. Say more you go ahead with your this thing and may God bless you. You go ahead.
For me, I am very impressed by this gesture which Doctor has just made. In fact, we have a problem here whereby lots of children are staying at home because they cannot afford, the money to pay school fees. They cannot afford the money even to buy exercise books. They cannot afford the money even to buy textbooks. So I think this gesture will go a long way to enhance the studies of their children.
Most of Elvis's achievements could not have gone without notice. Most of the times he earns awards from one institution or the other in recognition of his input to the society.
Very tricky questions. All the awards I've had has been, has really been very important to me, very close to my heart. But one of those that I really felt touched was when I was called up by CRTV Northwest, and the title of this award was the Cameroon Most Exemplary Youth. And the word most exemplary youth was a big burden on my head, reminding me that, you know, a lot of young people are looking up to me. A lot of young people need to copy some examples. And when I received that award, I said, thank you. You've seen the good part of me to bring it out. And I would apologize for any bad part of me that still exists, but this is a reminder that I need to be good all the time.
As from today, everybody for Northwest know what we mean by red feather. This one and folk group. Now ye be the tampo of them folk of Weibo, where you got to lead this war front. As from today, no backward, forward ever, backward never. We are still
Elvis's father, Mfume Paul Banseka, remains one of the pillars of his life, be it in politics or otherwise. He has stood by his son in trying times when Elvis lost elections and gives him the necessary encouragement to move on with his dreams.
I supported him. I was his campaign manager. I did everything, but unfortunately for us, we did not have it. Yes. So, but I always give him courage. I talk to him.
He's into philanthropy.
When I see him, I recall back my late mom, because my late mother was just a cheerful giver. Okay. My late mom could do everything just to give it to the public and stay alone. Yes.
Any advice?
Just to keep on, then have all trust in God, because everything is God. Yes. There's no human effort except God.
Just like it takes two to tango, Elvis reserves a softer spot for his mother, Nancy Rosalyn, a woman who braved all the odds to nurse him to maturity. He has no other better way to that expression, a way that leads to the discovery of yet another of his teeming talents, music. This is a piece of music he dedicated to his mother.
If it's music, I think I'll compete seriously. I'll compete because I've really been a music lover. That's what I do at my leisure time. In secondary school, I created an a cappella group called the Holy Brothers. In high school, I belonged to the Soul Searching Singers. We used to go sing in different schools. In the university, I was the University of Boya choir president. We used to go for a lot of concerts. And when I left the university and I enrolled my school in a music center, I could play the guitar. I went to studio. I wrote songs on my own, recorded them in studios. And now that I'm busy, but I always find time to play my guitar. I have my artist friend, Mr. Ciprano. Sometimes he comes here on Sunday. We play the guitar together. We sing. And that's what I do for my leisure. I also find time. I like reading a lot. When I'm alone in the house, I like reading a lot of books, especially motivational books, inspirational books, leadership books, management books. I read every kinds of books, and I find a lot of pleasure reading. And above all, why not hang out with friends when I have the chance to? I could sing this song which I dedicated to my mother because she's so precious to me. If I'm everything, it's because of her. Mom is so sweet, like honey. How can I pay you, mommy? The love that you give, which no one can give. How much can pay for your love? Mom is so sweet, like honey. How can I pay you, mommy? The love that you give, which no one can give. How much can pay for your love? How can I forget the place from where I came? Mommy, so sweet, so sweet. Mommy, remain the only girl I know. How much can pay for your love? Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I need you. Mommy, you are my goal. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I need you. Mommy, you are my goal.
In a world whose common attributes can sometimes be so cruel, where people sometimes measure their achievements by how many people they brought down on their way up, and where the terrain is generally slippery even for the greatest wrestlers, there could still be some hope left in the horizon, especially when one gets an encounter with a rare human species like Ndasi Elvis Nukam. The chemistry that bubbles in him is certainly strong enough to light the hopes of other youth whose exuberance know no limits. A deep into his repertoire of documented success stories gives him the impetus to carry on, whether in humanitarian, educational, political, or is it his business ventures. That is the man, a young man, Ndasi Elvis.
Ndasi for parliament to make your dreams come true. Vote for action, vote your future, no regrets at all. Elvis for parliament embodies confidence. Judging from his successes, he shall do same for you. He shall do same for you. Try